Hello. It's been a minute since I've done a live video, and I've just been truly reflecting over the last few months, few weeks, most recently on the fact that yesterday was March 13th, 2024. It's been 4 years. And what a difference 4 years can truly make, right? I can't, looking back, I can't believe it's been 4 years already. 4 years since that dreaded moment when they had announced on March 13th, 2020. I'll never forget, it was Friday the 13th, and they announced that all coffee and tea shops and all yoga studios would be forced to close. At the time, I was doing sales for a local tea company and teaching yoga. And not only that, my husband, Roger, was working at Mount Bachelor, and the ski resort was also being shut down as well, indefinitely, for a virus. The world was shut down, locked down. What? Like, it didn't make sense. None of it made sense. In one day, everything that felt secure to our family was taken from us at a point when we had a 9-month-old baby girl. Feelings of fear and lack, uncertainty, and more, right, filled our entire being. And not only that, we were isolated and alone. You were encouraged not to leave your home unless it was an emergency. And it's been 4 years since the day that the unimaginable became our reality, and so much has changed, so much has shifted. I am beyond grateful for the challenges that March 2020 brought into our lives. It encouraged me to think differently, right? To think outside the box, to think outside of what's considered normal, because I know deep down in my soul that I am not normal. I am not ordinary. I am extraordinary. I am extraordinary, right? Think about it. Most people, they go to college for 4 years. That's what you're told to do, right? Get a good education, they say. And so that's what you do. You invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in an education that isn't even guaranteed. When you graduate, you may or may not get a job that gives you the ability to pay back these loans. And most of our generation is still indebted to these loans decades later. For me, I graduated and got a 4-year degree in 2008. Right after the economy collapsed, people were laid off. I received a job offer for $25,000 a year, a salary that I didn't accept. And in fact, the person that did accept it got laid off 3 months later, right? This salary, it felt like a joke. I was making more money waiting tables at the steakhouse, Bugaboo Creek Steakhouse down the road. And so most likely I would need to keep doing that in order to continue living the lifestyle that I had created for myself. And so I graduated college, and did nothing with this degree that I had invested 4 years of my life only to come out with tons of student loans. And shout out to my parents because they saved their entire life for me to go and get that good education, right? And people, they celebrate you. People celebrate you when you go to college for 4 years because that's what you're supposed to do. And then you get out into what they're calling the real world and have to figure out some way to pay it all back. And so I know most of you are working multiple jobs just trying to simply get by and pay the bills, right? I know at one point in my life, I was working 40 hours a week at a job. And on top of that, teaching at four different yoga studios, right? The cycle begins, the rat race, you might call it, right? You trade time for money, you pay bills, take a vacation once, maybe twice a year to receive that instant gratification, that thing that you look forward to. You're most likely living beyond your means and accumulating this bad debt, and the cycle continues, right? No one is teaching you about wealth consciousness. No one is teaching you about asset acquisition. Only 5% of the population knows about this. The other 95% is stuck in this employee mindset of trading time for money. And when you know better, you do better, right? And you don't know what you know until you know it. Am I right? Opportunities, they'll come into your life and leave just as quickly because you've been indoctrinated to this idea that your life can change in 4 years, right? Go to college for 4 years. And the reality is that it didn't. And so you call things a scam or a pyramid scheme because, well, that's what you've been told to do. And the reality is that in order to live a different life, you have to think differently. Right, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting different results. In order to live a different life, you have to think outside the box. You have to think differently. You have to shift your perspective, change your perspective, right? You have to shift your consciousness, shift your wealth consciousness. And that's what the pandemic allowed me to do, right? After losing all forms of secure income quite literally overnight, I began to explore other forms of income, which allowed me to uncover the industry of direct sales and network marketing, an industry that has a bad rap, right? An industry, when looking deeper, has more self-made millionaires, and they were stay-at-home moms building businesses in the pockets of their time, right? You see, the thing about this industry that no one is talking about is that it's kind of like going back to college, right? You have to invest. You have to invest in yourself in order to get started. And on average, it takes about 1 to 5 years before you receive your return on investment and get into profit, right? Just like an entrepreneur, just like most businesses, right? It takes most businesses 1 to 5 years before you become in profit, right? Depending on your previous education and your previous skill sets, right? It's simply skill sets that you get to learn. And the thing that is different, though, is that it is an education platform with a compensation plan attached, meaning that you can earn while you learn. And as long as you don't give up or quit, you can and you will make it to the top of the compensation plan, right? That's the difference between a job in this industry. With a job, there's only one CEO, one person that can make it to the top of the income, right? Which is why so many people, quote unquote, fail after college, right? With this industry, there's an infinite number of people at the top. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has the ability and the opportunity to become a leader in this industry. No one is left out because of race or age or experience or whether or not you graduated from college or not. It doesn't matter. None of it matters, right? But most people get started and don't see immediate results and give up and call it a scam, right? It's a different different way of thinking, and you have to train your mind differently. It can happen quickly for some people, and it can take years for others. As long as you keep going, you're going to make it. It's not an if, it's a win. And know that your past does not dictate your future. Your past does not dictate your future. And so, if you're curious to learn a little bit more about this incredible opportunity that has transformed my life, that came into my life just 18 months ago, drop me in the comments and I will share this incredible masterclass with you. It's 45 or 60 minutes. It's completely free. And as long as you are willing to give me some feedback, right? I'm super stoked to connect with you. I'm rooting for you. I'm cheering you on. I love you so